working. Hopefully everyone is awesome. A little bit later today, gang. A little bit later today. Give us a shout out in the chat if you're there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat, Tuesday the 27th of July. Awesome to have a few of you guys on. I think a couple of people jumping on now, which is awesome. Like I said, a little bit later today, but better late than never is what they say. I don't know if that's a good saying or not, but anyway, works for me today. Morning to you guys. There's Bradley. I can't pop you guys out in the chat today, but that's all right. Hopefully you guys are staying out of trouble and going well. I've got Jay. Morning, Jay. Watching on YouTube today. That's good. Tell me how the YouTube experience is. Any different to Facebook? There's Bob. There's Lauren, Michelle, Sonia, Jimmy, Jeff, and Yasmin. Chris, good morning, Facebook user, whoever that is. You must be in one of the groups or something like that. Morning to you. Alison, how you going today? Good to see you. And hopefully you're all awesome and well. Stewie Martin, how are you, mate? Well, let's have a bit of a look at this, folks. Let's have a bit of a chat this morning. Hey, listen, this morning I want to chat to you about something that's quite interesting. Chatting with a good buddy of mine yesterday, and he's in the world of the investment game. And we were chatting and talking about investing as we do. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's an interesting thing that not a lot of people talk about money, do they? What do they say? There's 4 things in life you shouldn't talk about: politics, religion, sex, and money. You know, crikey, I reckon they're 4 pretty important things, to be honest. You know, and really at the end of the day, they don't get discussed at school. Rarely do our parents or our parents bring those subjects up without, you know, some emotional bias or, you know, intensity. It's an interesting thing. But I think any mature, very capable human should learn to talk about those 4 subjects. And for me, one of the important ones, certainly the one that I talk about all the time, is money. And it's important to get to understand about, you know, what will help you grow your wealth in the future. You guys have heard me say this many times. Buy well, never sell. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's go the distance. And, you know, yesterday I was chatting to, like I said, good buddy of mine, and we were talking about, you know, what do you reckon about investing? He's been in the share market game since he was like 19. And, you know, I said, well, you know, give us some tips from your point of view. And this one goes out to you, Betos. And Betos was talking about this guy, Warren Buffett. And, you know, one of the secrets about Warren Buffett, not only is he a very smart man and he's made some good investment decisions, but gang, what do you think the number one investment principle Warren Buffett has deployed in making people literally billions and billions of dollars? I think he's the number 4 or 5 rich person in the world now. Berkshire Hathaway worth billions and billions. Chuck it in the chat for me. What do you think? Was it market timing? You know, was it investing in all the new shiny things? Like every time there was a new shiny idea, let's do crypto, let's do, I don't know, whatever it is, let's invest in this stuff. You know, what do you reckon? What do you think Warren's done, you know, to make this thing successful over, I think it's, 50 or 60 years? I think Justin was saying that he and Charlie, I think the other guy's name's Charlie, you know, they've been doing it for a long time. 70 years, 50, 60, 70 years. Yeah. And, you know, there's a few good ones in there. Bradley said consistency. Catherine's consistency. Bob said start young or live longer. Listen, gang, it is absolutely all of that wrapped into one, you know, and I love this. I love this quote of Warren Buffett's. You know, someone's sitting in the shade of a tree today because they planted it a long time ago. Time, boom, Stewie Martin, all over it. All over it, mate. It takes time. Gang, like, this is the thing. This is me. What never lose money. That's it, Sonia. I remember him saying those ones as well. The stuff that he says and does, but it takes time, and he's been consistent, and he's done the same thing again and again and again, over and over and over, until he gets to where he wants to go. He doesn't sort of change his mind on a whim. He's not influenced by, you know, temporary emotional ups and downs in the market. You know, he takes his time to understand why this investment might be good. You know, he researches, he thinks. You know, he's not a good time Charlie. He's not influenced by the bloody silly media. You know, we can take some lessons from these absolute legends of investing. And, you know, for us, you know, yeah, sure, maybe we're not aiming for $1 billion, but $1 million or 2 million or 3 million, the same principles apply, team. The same principles apply when it comes to us as investors going the distance. Go the distance. Be consistent. Take some time. Don't be swayed. Stick to the plan. All right? Stick to the plan. Team, gang. There's just so many, you know, so many plans, you know, fall by the wayside because we're not patient enough, or, you know, we don't develop ourselves mentally and emotionally enough to stick to the outcome, you know. We get shiny object-itis. Oh, something else is more interesting. I'm going to take all of the effort. You know, it takes a lot of effort to get the boulder going. It takes a lot of effort to get the rock rolling. But once something has momentum, that's when things become better and better and better and better. And we've got to maintain it. We've got to look after it. We've got to give it a push every now and then. But you know, many of us right now are in the momentum phase. We're in the acquisition phase of buying our properties, getting this sucker rolling, and, you know, going the distance. Time. Buy well, never sell. That is my catch cry. And this thing's a marathon, not a sprint. Snowball effect. Dead right, Bob. Dead right, mate. It absolutely is, right? And here's another very famous quote from an old person. I think the theme is about being old, you know. But, you know, Albert Einstein. Now, I don't even know if he said this. I think this could be, you know, a bunch of malarkey, but who knows? But compounding interest. Team, time and values to compound are absolutely vital for you as an investor to go the distance, to be able to get an outcome for what we're trying to do. Now, I had a little thing here in my library, in my photos library. I was just going to try and grab it. I might chuck this up. I'll see if my iPad's working. I don't know if I connected it. There it is. Look at this. Check this out. Thanks. Shout out to you, Deb. Shout out to you. But this was, check out, look, listen, gang. In 1979, that was, I say, 6 years or 5 years after I was born, right? 1979, somebody said, I'm going to buy myself an apartment in Bondi, okay? Now, listen to me now. All right, this person at that point did not know in how many years' time it is now, what's that, 30, 51 years, right? 51 years, that they were going to get this result, okay? Now, I don't know if that person's owned it for that whole time, but the article didn't say that, okay? But check this out. Who gave up? Did the property give up in this journey, or did the people give up? Team, gang, listen to me now, what I'm saying. All right. Consistency, go the distance, time. Purchase for $45,000. Who would like to get in a time machine right now and go back in time to somewhere in Australia right now that you know and go back and buy 10 properties? If you had, right, chuck it in the chat for me right now. If you had $100,000 and you could get in a time machine and go back 50 years, where would you buy? What? Put it in the chat for me. Like, tell me where you would buy. Where would you buy? What would you buy? From a property point of view, gang. Gee, I tell you, you'd probably buy into some Berkshire Hathaway shares too, I would reckon. But we're going to talk about property. This is a property show. Check it out. Right. All right, what do we got here? All right, Footscray, Burnside, Adelaide, Darwin, Hardick. You'd probably get them for free, Darwin, in 1975. Footscray, Harbourside, Sydney Beaches. Yeah, gang, we know this. We look back now. This is what? Toorak, absolutely, Dino. You know, we look back now and we go, gee, it would have been good to be back then. Wake up, people. We are here right now, right? We are here right now. Look around where you are. Byron Bay, Trina. Dead right. 10 acres at Byron Bay. Yep, absolutely. Eastern suburbs. Byron, Noosa, Bondi. Gang, where is your Byron? Where is your Bondi right now? And you might be surprised. It's probably right under your snozzer. It's right under your nose. And for some of us, we get a bit caught up in, you know, trying to make this the next best guess. Which is fine. We're trying to do the best analysis, the best due diligence possible. New York, Bradley. Yeah, dead right. All right, there you go. Facebook, whoever's in the Facebook group gave us a bit of a compounding return. Widow's House. Oh, Dino, I grew up in nowhere. Actually, back in 1970... actually, I think it was about 1981. My dad bought our house for $500. Check that out. Check that out. We bought our house for $500 in a place called Pentland. And we just sold it recently for $81,000. So it's not a bad compounding effect. Now, I don't think I'd want to live there. But you guys are getting the picture, I'm telling you, right? And Jeff is crushing it down there. Bottom heads. All right, 250K. That's awesome. That's awesome. Gang, this is the drill, right? This is the drill. Bit of fun this morning. Shout out to my mate Betos, who loves Warren Buffett. But Warren's on it. Warren's all over it. These blokes, these old blokes, you know, they know what they're talking about. Compounding interest. Compounding interest. Let me see if this works. It didn't. All right, we'll play it again. Boom, boom, boom. So, you know, compounding interest and taking some time. You know, what can we learn as we go into and build our property portfolio team? It's pretty important. And check this out. Sold in the middle of lockdown for $1.7 million. I wouldn't have sold it, by the way. Imagine. So, team, think of this. You bought this property for $45,000 50 years ago. And just think of it now. You're buying a property for $500,000. Now, for some of you, you're like, shit, mate. Shit, Jace, I'm not going to live 50 years. Stop bloody talking rubbish and tell me how I can do some stuff quicker. Yeah, I get that. I get it. I hear you. But, you know, think of this. You can pass some of this on to your kids. A bit of a legacy program as well as some wealth right now. And there's ways we can accelerate this, gang, safely. I hear you. Morning, Alison. Good to see you here. Wondering where you were. So there you go. Take some time. Know this is going to be a long-term thing. Know this should be intergenerational, an intergenerational plan to create wealth for you and your family. You know, give back in ways that you think you might want to. What's the capital gains tax on that, Bob? Well, thankfully, I think capital gains tax came in 1985, Bob, and that one is capital gains tax free if they owned it, if it's the same owner since 1979, obviously. But imagine this, you owned it in 1979. If you never paid a cent off that mortgage, gang, if you never paid a cent off that mortgage and it still owed $45,000, would you care? No, you wouldn't. And this is the thing. A lot of people go, oh, don't pay interest only. You've got to pay off your debt straight away. All this rubbish from very ill-informed, unsophisticated conversations I hear often. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, advisor. All you're perpetuating is fear and ignorance, not good strategy, long-term planning. But anyway, there you go. I thought that would be interesting and fun to have a bit of a look at there. And thanks to these two legends, we've got Albert and we've got Warren, who know what they're talking about when it comes to the long commitment to investing and making it happen, gang. All right, well, there you go. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining me each day. If you didn't already know, you can find this. This morning chat on Spotify. Let me show you. Spotify's being a bit of a pain right now. There we go. If you go into Spotify or you go into iTunes, gang, let me show you this. There we go. And you go and search it up. Wealth, coffee chats, boom. There it is. So you can download this. You can jump on and you can listen to it as a podcast as well if you haven't already dialed in, gang. So if you miss it in the mornings, you can catch it live. Sometimes it's hard to find it in Facebook. YouTube, it always pops up there. And if you need to listen to it on the run, download the podcast and get into it. All right, gang. Well, that's it. Done and dusted. Wealth Coffee Chat for today. Hopefully, you guys can join me tomorrow around about the same time, around about 8 o'clock. Sometimes a little bit later, usually between 8 and 8:05 is when I kick off and get it going. But awesome to have you guys hanging out with me today, and good to have a chat. The theme of today, it's going to take some time. Plant a seed now and you'll be sitting in the shade in the future. And don't underestimate compounding, the compounding effect of interest, the compounding effect of owning something over time, returns on returns, on returns, on returns, on returns, on returns, on returns, and. All right, gang, that's it. Take care. You guys are awesome. Have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.